Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 31st Annual Sedona International Film Festival. I'm your host, Carol Kahn, and we would like to thank our sponsors, Mercedes-Benz, who is our title sponsor. Thank you for participating in this year's festival, along with Yavapai College and United Healthcare. We are so excited to have you here as members of our festival and our volunteers, restaurateurs, and hoteliers. And I am so excited to introduce you to Mano Savari. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Carol. I'm very happy to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you in Sedona, and we were just talking before, so this is your first time.
It's my first time here, and I feel like Sedona has stolen my heart, and I would love to visit again. I'd love to be here a lot more. It's a very magical place.
It is, and you know, it gets in your blood and your heart, really, just like you said, and it's never going to leave.
No, I felt it right away. There were a lot of people telling me how beautiful it was, how magical it was, how spiritual, and yeah, I really had no idea until I started to kind of get closer on the drive up here, and it's just been really beautiful. I wish I could stay longer, and I already thought about bringing my family back and just in some way to be here more.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And your family, we were just talking, you have an almost
4-year-old son.
Yes.
Yeah.
And
who
his
I
name?
said already acts like a teenager.
Yeah.
But yeah. His name is Christopher. Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's
And you're
my
here
little
for
guy.
the film?
Yes, I'm here for the film Beyond the Rush.
Right. So talk to us a little bit about the film and tell us what inspired you to want to be a part of that.
I think the deepest thing that inspired me is not just our director, Rob, and his incredible journey around writing this film and this whole story being told, but I think just the idea of playing a mother, really fighting for the love and the connection with her children. That was something that spoke to me the most. I really like to play characters that are very complex, are really experiencing a lot of challenges, things that I feel like I can really always learn from in my own life in some way. We had an incredible cast. I was really, really excited to be working with Kathy Moriarty and being able to share the screen with her, and it was just a beautiful dynamic. It's a really special thing when you get to work on a film like this that is a independent film. It's a smaller film, but you really become a family. You really bond, and I think that's the experience that I enjoy the most. That's the type of thing that I love to do, because it just teaches me so much about myself, my own life, and allows me to grow in all of these new ways. You know, it's not just a job. It's not just something that is crazy and intense and, you know, chaotic. It's it has deep value within it.
Did you find doing this particular film that there was part of your life that was interwoven in the storyline?
I think in the sense that I've experienced a lot of struggle in my own life, a lot of trauma, emotional trauma, a lot of, you know, trying to be better than my circumstance or better than myself in a lot of ways. I think those were personal connections that I was able to make, you know, within the story and within the character, and you know, that's something that just really spoke to me. I really see my character Leah as someone who is she's human at the end of the day. Mm-hmm. She's someone who I believe truly has a good heart and a fighting spirit, and you know, those are the things that I felt really resonated with me, just trying to always fight to be better than what you're put up against.
Mm-hmm. And there was also a theme in there that I think, if I'm not mistaken, the child's name was Hope, the baby at the end, when they had, at the very end of the film. And so just researching about you, it seems hope has a theme in your life as well, which I just found really ironic when I watched that.
It follows me around.
Yes.
I recently attended Frieze, the art exhibit that they have in Los Angeles, and I came around the corner and someone had constructed in separate letters in different materials and colors, and it was the letters HOPE, and I was like, oh, I have to take a photo next to this one. For sure. I mean, I think, that's why a place like Sedona really, I feel connected with. I'm always, I guess it's that Aquarian spirit as well. I'm always looking for that deep meaning and connection within things. And there's always a message within all of that. And I felt for a really long time, this is something that I've spoken about a lot in my life, that I feel like there's projects that present themselves to me at the times when I most need it. Mm-hmm. There's this really weird symmetry between something that I feel like I'm trying to personally deal with, approach, or overcome, that the project gives me the ability to learn from that. Mm-hmm. So for sure, there's a lot of all those weird connections going on.
I think that's what, as I get older, and I think as we get older, we begin to see like the whole life patterns, right? And I think for me even, sometimes you don't know what the answer is. Like sometimes the rug gets pulled out from under you and you have no idea why this has to happen and when it happens. Mm-hmm. And then 6 months later you can turn around and the answer is right there. It's very clear, mm-hmm. like as to what that is. And I think if you're like really tuned into that, because our lives are so busy that we're constantly moving in a very quick direction, and we don't stop to really understand what's happening. Yeah. But life is about that, right? Life's mm-hmm. about the ups and downs, and mm-hmm. It's not perfect. It's not that we want it to be that evenness, and so we can adjust to it. But there's so many choices. It's all about choices being made. Mm-hmm. It's all about things happening, but that's really life. That's mm-hmm. what it is, and how we deal with it. Mm-hmm. And so I just think it's really amazing. Like, your book is part of like your journey, and basically, maybe very cathartic for you and how you, progressed in your life. And movies are like that, it sounds like, for you.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, after I finished writing my book, I found out I was pregnant. I feel like because I was able to give of myself in the way that's the most valuable, I'd like to believe that I was able to receive more. Mm-hmm. No, for sure, I completely agree with you. I've recently, since the end of last year, gotten really, really deep into Kabbalah, and that's like a lot of
yes.
what we talk about. We like to think that we're in control, and the first step that they really teach you is to pause and say, what a pleasure, mm-hmm. Because it's always an opportunity to grow and learn. And by pausing, we're able to stop the instant, sort of instinct to becoming reactive.
Mm-hmm. I just brings me back to the Disney film of Let It Go, right?
Yeah,
Let It Go.
Yeah.
It's
well, trust in the process,
yes.
and that there is a reason for all of those things. There's always it's always an opportunity. It's and that free will does come into play, because mm-hmm. then we have the ability to choose whether or not we become reactive and how we're going to approach that situation. And that's something that I had always been really, really fighting for in my life. But now working with Kabbalah, it's helped me understand a bit more of the structure of what I was trying to do, and it just helps kind of navigate those moments, because we don't have control over everything, and you have to. I had a friend for a really long time always say trust the process, mm-hmm. And you have to, or at least I like to choose that there's a path to a certain extent, right? Mm-hmm. And so all of those moments are meant.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and after living here in Sedona, like I shared with you, it's one of the things that I have learned is that you can control things. That's number one. Trust your instincts, because your instincts never lie to you. They're right there, but you just have to really listen, which it sounds like that you're being taught, like how to do those kinds of things. And I also think that we're always taken care of. So, you know, and to trust in that universal process that no matter what happens in our lives, we're always taken care of. And, you know, that sometimes scares me a little bit because I think to myself, I don't want to take advantage of knowing that I'm going to be taken care of. So, but then that's where gratitude comes in.
For sure, it's
You know,
comforting.
yes.
For sure. Yeah. No, that's always really helped me, just to understand that, you know, the light is consistent. And the light is everywhere and within all of us, so that we
Yes.
all are connected.
Yeah.
You know, that is a great gift and a blessing, and something definitely to, you know, to feel grateful for. I don't think you have to feel bad about that. You know, it's a beautiful thing. I think
Yeah.
if anything, it's more about learning how to embrace that
Yes.
more.
But I guess when we look back at our lives and we think to ourselves, like, why did I do that, or why did I go through that? But you know, it's
no,
those
for
crazy
sure,
moments.
for sure. I've many times said that I've acted for a long time in my life like a very like naughty, rebellious teenager towards our creator. Just like, yeah, you know. But again, there's always something that presents itself, you know.
Yeah.
And I think that if you allow yourself to really listen and settle into that knowing, it could be it doesn't have to be something really big, you know, but there's messages in all of it. I choose to believe that, you know. I believe that this project came into my life for a reason. I believe that Rob our director came into my life for a reason. Like, it's all an opportunity for me to learn something about myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are no mistake. You know, it's just,
Yeah.
it's one of those things. It's serendipity and it's
Yeah.
meant to be. So I agree with you. So being in the business for as long as you've been a model, actress, you've written a book. I think you've designed some jewelry along the way.
I told you I'm an Aquarian.
I know, I love
So
that.
I like to do it all. I'm like, what else can I do today?
I think that's amazing. But where do you see the next phase of your life going?
Thank you. I really would like to produce more and develop material. I have a project that I am working with a writer with, that we're going to be starting to prep our pitch to go out, and you know, that's something that I've always felt really passionate about. Series work, doing more kind of regular series work, because I've worked in that space. I worked on a project called American Woman, where we were able to do a full season. That was for Paramount Network at the time, and I would just love to have the ability to really grow with a character throughout seasons. Yeah, but I'd love to be my own boss.
Who wouldn't,
So
right?
that's
At this point
stuff
in
that
our
I'm
life.
working on. Yeah, to be a bit more behind
Yeah.
the camera. And, you know, that's definitely something I've been passionate about a long time. But I had to really overcome the idea that I was able to do that.
Now, your film, is it being shown today?
Yes, we have a screening today at 1 o'clock, and then we also have a screening on Wednesday. The
Okay.
time is at 4 o'clock. Yeah, today
it's-
at 1 o'clock, and
Okay.
then Wednesday at 4 o'clock.
And it's at the Alice Gill Theater?
Yes.
Okay.
They're nodding.
Yes.
it is. And it's at the Alice Gill Theater.
Awesome,
Yeah.
awesome. Well, we're going to bring Rob on in just a few
Yes,
minutes,
good.
so we're just going to wind up this segment. But it's
Okay.
such a pleasure to have you here,
Yeah,
and
thank
also
you.
I've enjoyed talking with you. So thank you so
you.
much for sharing, your life and the film and everything together.
Of
So
course.
it's great
Thank
to have
you,
you
Carol.
here.
That's wonderful conversation. I appreciate you asking these questions.
Thank you. Thank you. And don't forget to follow us on hashtag Sedona Film Fest, and we are on Facebook Live. So we will be back with more shortly and continue with Beyond the Rush. Stay with us. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Sedona International Film Festival, where we're celebrating our 31st anniversary. We'd like to thank our sponsors, Mercedes-Benz, Linda Goldenstein Gallery, the Kling Foundation. Thank you to all our sponsors, volunteers, hoteliers, and restaurateurs. We appreciate you year after year, so thank you so much. And joining us again back is Mina and Rob. Good to see you. And Rob is the director of the film Beyond the Rush.
Yes.
So it's so good to have you here.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. And actually, I wrote it and directed it.
You wrote and directed it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
Torturous.
It was a great it was a great film from beginning to end, right?
Thank
You kept
you
me
so
on my
much.
toes the whole time I watched
Appreciate
it, and I didn't expect. There were certain things I did not expect at all, and so especially towards the end.
No, it's great. It's great
Twists
to
and
see.
turns.
Yeah, it's great to see different people watch it because I've been involved with the script for 8 years and rewriting it and writing it and rewriting it. So I've been used to what those twists and turns are. So I forgot that they are twists and turns.
Right.
So it's really nice to see on screen and then see the audience react.
Right.
Because those are the things that when I write, I like to do those things. I like to lead in one direction and then present it in another, build things up and kind of give some surprise endings. Those were always the books I loved reading. Those were always the stories I loved reading and watching.
Right. Was this the story, was it based on anything?
Well, I think it's based a lot on what's happened in my life. Not necessarily all of it, but kind of what my life story has been. I did get sober on May 8th, 2018. So
Congratulations.
that's my sobriety date. I can't believe it's going to be 7 years this May. It's insane.
Amazing.
Samuel, I wrote a short story when I was a senior in high school called Beyond the Rush, and I was 18 years old. There were two characters, Edward Claiborne and Samuel Grievous. That was it. So that's where this story is based, what it's based off of. And then in the early 2000s, I wrote it into a short film. I made it into a short film in 2016, won some awards with it, and decided to make it into a feature length. So the journey of the story has kind of come from when I was 18. And Samuel was a very much different character in the sense of, in the short story, he's more of an addict and very strange and weird. And as I got to writing him into the feature, I made him more of a functional alcoholic and a functional addict. And, as we get older, we just start to see, and most of the world is. And, I am the last person to judge anybody, I also own a sports tavern in the city of Manhattan, so I am not a judge of anyone.
Right.
It's just that we see it, and that people rely on it, and they unfortunately, people have problems, and I chose to deal with mine and stop it. We have choices.
Right.
It kind of goes back to the story in Beyond the Rush, that they're choices that people make, and Teddy is one of the characters in there, and we kind of see he's struggling with making the right choices, and we see is Samuel gonna make the right choices, and his inner voice is his mother, is Leah.
Right.
As you go through the movie, you start to see like she raised him, and there were some issues obviously when he was a child, and we all have a lot of stuff and baggage
Right.
on us. As he grew up, he dealt with them, in one way, and it was awesome to see the manifestation of his thoughts,
Right.
being Mina playing Leah, which was amazing, and sort of guiding him.
Right.
So it's sort of, my addiction problems, yes, you draw on those things. There was a girl I was in love with who was an opiate addict and heroin addict, and she wound up getting killed. So I drew on that pain and grief and heartache, and those are things of life. And as a writer, we draw on all of our experiences, and then trying to put it into a script and then trying to get it on screen, those are all different processes. So I'd say it is. It's loosely based on things that have happened in my life or people I've loved and cared about.
And that's what I find so fascinating, that it's so cathartic for both of you in so many different ways, right? No matter what role that you choose or whatever that is, and your story and what you're sharing with us now, I think in some ways can be very healing. Sometimes it's really hard to go back because there's triggers that go back to that. But you know, bringing a film like that helps so many other people out there. Just like you're saying, you see it every day in your bar, but out there it's real. It's real life. And so I think, you know, sometimes those messages help people and understand that they're going through you know, similar things.
Yeah, I'm hoping that this movie can be that, can help people. We've been in a bunch of film festivals, and we've gotten some really great reactions from kids in college to people in their 80s, and all across the board and in between, about what this movie's meant to them. And I'm so happy about that. Like, as a writer and now a director, and I think I speak for actors as well, why we do this, why we write stories, why we tell stories, why we act in stories, is to get reactions from audience. You know, to be creative and to have people think and be engaged and kind of, you know, identify with some of it. So I'm hoping that the messages can get out and see that, hey, I was at a bottom point. I mean, seriously, like, this is bad. It's just my drinking was so bad. And you can be in a bad place, but you can get out. There is a hope. There's hope at the end if you can make the right decisions and choices. And, you know, we're all here to kind of try to help each other.
Right, agreed. And how can people find out about your film?
So Beyond the Rush, you can go beyondtherush.com. You can go to Instagram at Beyond the Rush Film. We're on, I think those are the two. IMDb, Beyond the Rush, but beyondtherush.com and at Beyond the Rush Film is where you'll be able to find us best.
And then the films are definitely, we just talked about it today, so at 1.
So the film's playing today at 1 p.m. at Alice,
Alice B. Gill.
Yes, that theater, and Wednesday at 4:10. We're playing again here, so we're very excited and appreciative to have Sedona welcome us here to give us an opportunity to share it.
Yeah, well, we love having you here. Thank you so much. I know you're going to be coming back, so both of you really, but thank you so much for being here. Such a pleasure to have you, and just welcome. Just have a great time.
Thank you. I really will.
And we will be back with more from the Sedona International Film Festival, and just follow us on Facebook Live for interviews throughout the day.